Hey, AP Chemistry. So I wanted to show you a cool website if you've never used this before. It's called Wolfram Alpha. And in this chapter, we had experienced maybe a couple of situations where we had to use the quadratic formula to solve for equilibrium concentrations. Now, I'm not going to do too many problems with that, but I want to do an example from your last problem set. So this is question number 5. And again, the website is Wolfram Alpha, and the website is right here. And here's how you use it. So if you look at question number 5, and I posted the answer key, you would get some sort of equation that looks like this, right? So if you were to set up the equilibrium expression, you get 0.3, and see how it's already trying to do things, 0.375 minus 2x, and it would equal 0.25 plus x, and you multiply it, parentheses, 0.1414. Okay, now this is what you would get at the end with the equilibrium expression. And as you saw from there, you cannot assume that the equilibrium expression in question number 5 is small enough to assume that those x's would be 0. So if you want Wolfram Alpha to solve equations, you would just write the word solve, semicolon, and then you could plug in whatever and hit equal. And then it would automatically start solving it for you. And it doesn't really solve it in an approximate form, but if you click on it, boom, it gives you the value of x. Now, sometimes it does, or sometimes it doesn't give you more than one x. But in our instances, we know that if we need to solve for an x that makes sense with our numbers. So if it gives us a negative number, we might not use it. If it makes our answers negative, we don't want to use that. So if you look at the answer key for question number 5, we got that x was 0.159, and that's where that came from. So again, it's a free website. It's pretty cool. You could just plug in any values and it'll solve it for you. If you want to do something else, like let's say you were doing like an actual quadratic, which is something we'll see this week. Let's say I wanted it to solve the following quadratic. It looks like, oh no, I'm trying to find the example. But let's say it was 4.04x, and I have to do up squared, and minus 1.68x plus 0.141. And you'll see this in class soon. If I hit equal, it's going to solve it for me, and it's going to give me both those roots. And so it's computing, it's going to give me a graph, and it's going to give me my roots. And this is kind of like what you would plug into the calculator. And so I get these two things, and if I want to put it into approximate form, boom, it'll give me what x equals. So there we go. X equals 0.1165. And that is actually going to be the answer that we need to use in another question that's coming up. So I would like you to get in the habit of knowing how to use Wolfram Alpha if we have to solve quadratics, or if you know how to use it on your calculator, you could do that as well.